All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
You want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, by Ahchyam, Yahweh Shah, by Ahchyam, Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and Shalom to all the Ahchyam out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. And this lesson is just going to go into, when you fall, trust that the Lord/brothers is going to help you, in your lower state. And, we're going to just go into a couple of scriptures because, you got brothers that'll go through certain straits. They'll go through whether financial straits in their household where they have to move. And, they might be, at a lower state, physically, so to speak. But that's why you always got the brothers and you got to trust in the Lord. The scriptures speak about, matter of fact, I'll get that in Sirach, the 2nd chapter. Has anyone ever trusted in the Lord and was confounded? The Lord actually has a team, all right, a spiritual team, which is the brotherhood that's around you to support you, coach you, guide you, and restore and help you, get from your lower state to get established, so to speak. Because even though we're in this hell and we're gonna always catch hell in this captivity, you always got the security of the brotherhood, man. That's what the Lord actually gave us as a spiritual gift, brothers that actually, give charity and things of that nature, actually help brothers, when they're financially going through financial woes, just going through emotional woes on the whole, so to speak. This system is getting the best of a brother, but that's why, the scriptures speak about how brothers as like a medicine, and I'm gonna get that scripture too. But I'm gonna start with this scripture in Sirach 2:10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right, and the Lord's name is a strong tower. So you got ultimately, above all, you got the name of Yahweh Shah. If you're a brother in a region by yourself, that's your spiritual guidance, so to speak, the comforter.
That's right.
That word comfort goes into with fort. So the Lord has a fortification. He has those angels to protect and direct your steps unto salvation. All right. And just like I say, you're gonna go through these different things. That you're gonna actually fall. You're gonna actually be in a situations where you might be frustrated. You might be just jacked up on a whole. But that's why it's brothers around you. And brothers, of course, you gotta always gauge the flock. Gauge brothers that's going through certain things spiritually, and you gotta restore such a one, so to speak. The scripture says, "He that is weak receive ye." If you see a brother that's catching a immense amount of hell, of course a brother has to bear that burden in Yahweh Shai. But we're burden bearers, man. Sometimes you gotta take the weight off of a brother, and you gotta be a fellow yokeman, a fellow bondsman, so to speak, and help him fight this fight of faith. You want to say something?
Galatians 6:2, I believe. Speak about bearing your brother's burden. You got to be that.
There's a 5-minute slowdown on US
that help.
North at 0.75 miles.
Because we all one body that make up Yahweh Shah.
That's right.
So we got to keep the body intact.
That's right. This is Galatians 6:1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burden, and so fulfill the law of Yahweh Shah. And just like the brother said, we that's the duty or obligation for each and every one of us brothers in this fold to actually bear the burden of a brother. And it's different types of burdens. Burdens come in thousands of different type of ways. Just like I said, a brother might go through financial woes. It might not even have nothing to do with money, man. Just mentally catching hell. And how do you restore a brother? By giving them this word. This word is known as life. It's known as water. It's known as the shelter. All right. It's known as all these different things to actually help a brother to actually elevate and get out of the harsh situation that he's actually fell into. Because this place is full of traps and ditches, snares. But guess what? That's why you have a brother like, hey, that's a booby trap, man. And if a brother fall into that, you as a brother, you got to help pull him out.
right.
and rebuke them, wipe them off, so to speak, wipe the dust in the ground through the word, correct them, give them that forewarning of certain situations of how to move.
You don't want to be like
Head west on exit
you see a brother going off and you see him falling and you don't want to stick your hand out and help.
Yeah.
You just spotting everything and not saying anything.
Yeah, that ain't a brother, man.
Right.
That's not a brother mentality. That's a nigga.
In 800 feet,
You know?
use the right 2 lanes.
Because really, with that type of mentality, you looking for a man to fall without actually putting in your emphasis, so to speak, putting in what you can to actually coach and guide that man to get out of that situation.
God.
So guess what? Blood is on your hands. When you see a man that's might be that's in the camp, of course, in the spirit, and you see him deviating, you see him slowing down, you see certain snares and traps getting the best of him. You don't be like, well, that's a nigga, man. He gonna fall off soon. Nah, man. You rebuke him, you exhort him, because we all fall short in this thing. We all fall. We all make mistakes. We all have a large amount of shortcomings in this thing. We all worthy of death.
Right.
So if a brother still, his spiritual heart still beating, his pulse is still there, and he's still fighting in the fight of faith, fight with him, help him fight, coach him. This is Sirach 6:16. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Right, and why is a faithful friend known as a medicine of life? Because a brother might go through those sicknesses, man. Hey, that's another thing too.
Right 2 lanes to turn
A brother might go through a level of sicknesses where he don't understand remedies. He don't understand, how to restore himself. You got to look into those herbs, man. Can't just be simple looking at the brother, he jacked up. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. The Most High gave us tools to overcome these situations and to help one another to overcome.
That's right.
You can't be always in that simple mentality and just looking out for yourself, so to speak. The scriptures speak about how every man looking for his own thing. You just looking and worried about what's going on in your life. But when you see a brother that's in a ditch, so to speak, or he in a jacked up situation, you the last one to be found, man. That ain't right. So you gotta always, like I said, examine. And like I said, it's not even always a financial thing, man. It's sometimes spiritual. It's spiritual above all.
God.
If you give that brother some words of wisdom, because we do it all the time, in the spirit. And you sometimes examine certain men might be wavering and things of that nature.
That's right.
Might not be there in time of need. You be like, oh man, that ain't the right spirit. That ain't the right spirit to have. Yeah, Jordan on it. That ain't the right spirit to have. So you got to always examine these things, man. You always got to gauge the flock. All right, see the conditions of the herd. Scripture speak about how a wise man, he regardeth the life of his beast.
Yeah.
So you got to regard the life of brethren, man.
God.
And taking care of sheep is not an easy job, man. You gotta groom them. You gotta make sure that they outside, out in certain conditions. You gotta make sure they sheltered in certain times.
God.
You gotta make sure that they fed properly. You gotta make sure that they got natural, antibiotics and things of that nature. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time occupation. So it's the same thing with the brotherhood. That's why it says a faithful man, and I'm going to read that over. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. Right, so if a brother's in a good estate and he sees you in a low estate, he's going to be low with you.
Yep.
So that he can get you out of that situation and you could, get back on a level. Because the Lord will put those tests out there too. The Lord ain't going to always just intervene. He gonna see what the brother's gonna do. All right, he gonna see how you gonna react to these situations. Lord ain't gonna just come with his almighty hand, so to speak, and get you out of that situation. You got the elements around you, man.
God.
Great Millstone is a spiritual mastermind group. And the spirit, Lord willing, we'll do a lesson on that. What's a mastermind group consist of? It consists of wise men that understand the network of things, men that understand medicine, men that understand technology, all right, men that understand economics, wisdom, movements, understand situations that's going on in the city, so to speak, what's trending, so to speak.
God.
And we all are different aspects of the body. That's why we got to play on each other. You got certain men that's financially secure. You know, but that brother that's financially you know, in a high up position, he's supposed to help the brothers around him that's in a low position. That's how our economy works.
That's right.
And you got certain men that don't think sound and don't think economically. They think like straight niggas. They trying to really ball in this life and play Israelite and just trying to balance both worlds and play up under the radar. But in the reality of it, they're not really putting forth the full effort in the truth, man.
Yeah.
As a man of the Lord should. When you read the scriptures, it was certain men that was in certain dire straits, and Paul and the different disciples, Peter, they actually had the men get together and divvy up all their money. All right, divvy it up so that everybody would be straight. You had times where famines was occurring in Jerusalem, and men in Corinth, you know, that's where you get. If I'm not mistaken, Corinthians, the couple chapters like 12th and 13th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna have to, you know, brush on it. But Paul was telling those men to give alms and help out the men at home at the center, man.
That's right.
Because it was hell that was being caught in Jerusalem. It was a famine. It was a lack of substance. So the men in Corinth, the men in Galatia, all throughout Asia Minor, you know, they had to unite. They may have had to lose a couple dollars, but guess what? Those men were starving out there, man. So it's the same thing in the faith. You gotta gauge the flock. That's locally and that's federally, so to speak too. That's why the tithes is mandatory. You can't pay tithes if you ain't got a job or you in that mentality kings don't work. Nah, man, you gotta labor. The scripture says labor working with your hands, because what? You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta take care of your household, and you gotta take care of this church.
Money is a defense.
Money is a defense, and wisdom is a defense. That's right.
And if I could say too, you know, the guys try to balancing it the wrong way. You know, the scriptures say, basically, don't give too much. You know, so where you'll hurt yourself. You know, instead they trying to balance that with the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because just like the brother said, you know, a lot of men think, you know, they see that over giving is a negative thing, which of course the scriptures speak about that is balance. But you got certain men that'll shut down their help, you know, shut down the spirit of charity on a whole. Like, man, I ain't giving nobody nothing, man. All I'm finna do is just push this word around, man. That's a nigga spirit, man.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, Howard Shah, he washed the disciples' feet. He fed the multitude with bread, fish, loaves, so to speak. And marriage of Cana gave them wine to drink. He made sure that people was eating, so to speak. He made sure that his congregation was lively spiritually and physically to push this word, man. You know, he made sure that they was resourcefully sound. All right, and on top of actually restoring the sick, on top of actually healing the blind, all right, cleansing the lepers. That was a heavy office that Yahweh Shah actually held, and he represents the prototype. He represents the prototype of how man should be on earth. So we have to emulate and we have to replicate that same formula and dynamic in this truth. And this is Proverbs 18:24. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Right. So in this truth, you got to show yourself friendly. The word friend goes into the word fratis, which means brother. You know, that's where you get the term fraternity from. You know, this is a spiritual fraternity. And you see how those frat boys be, even though they're a lot of them some extreme faggots, you know, and they bugged out their damn mind, but a lot of times they be helping each other, man.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood.
Yeah, that's an extreme brotherhood, man. They make sure that the house is straight, so to speak. They'll have a house.
They
of course, a dorm. Yeah, they get on each other, make sure that things is operating like a well-oiled machine. So how much more brothers in the faith that got this truth, man?
God.
You know, you look at these other organizations, the mob and the mafia, all right, and, you know, different organized gangs, and those guys they understand the formula of order, man.
So what more for the truth?
So how much more for the truth? Hey, that's the spirit. Because Lord willing, I might do a lesson on that too. You know, we might do a lesson on loyalty amongst thieves. It's loyalty amongst thieves. So how much more brothers in the faith, man?
Right.
You got certain individuals that are being a mob. They might, you know, hit for $150,000. They'll give us $75,000 to the Duns, man. They make sure they living fat. You had this one guy. He was talking about he used to make $2 million a week. No, if I'm not mistaken, it was like $2 million, and he made sure that out of that $2 million, he would give like 75%, man. How much more brothers in the faith, man? Of course, the scriptures speak about paying tithes, giving you 10%. But if it's a man on the outside that doesn't have no rule, no law and order, you know, according to the faith of Yahweh Ahchyam Ahchyam, and he understands to keep the top fed so that the bottom, you know what I'm saying, will be fed. How much more brothers in the spirit of things,
That's
man?
right.
You got to know these things, of course. You know, you gotta be cognizant and be well aware of like I said, the flock of what's going on, gauging brothers, you know, making sure that your economy is in sync properly, man. You got to synchronize things, man, because a lot of times certain churches will be in sync, some churches will be out sync. Hey, I'm not saying that, of course, brothers in the faith, but hey, it tells you that in the scriptures. Certain churches were on point, but you had certain churches, it was just pandemonium, man. All kind of nigga shit going on, fornication. Like I said, a lot of times they didn't want to give out, they didn't want to help men in their church, they didn't want to help men on the outside of and other churches, and they might have been financially straight. They was using all their money to be mass consumers in Greece, man, or in Rome. So in this truth, you got to be well aware of you know, the flock and, you know, this church, so to speak. And I'm gonna read that over. It says, a man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Right, so you have brothers that stick very, very close, and that you know, gauge these things, and their whole thing is, all right, I'm gonna make sure that this church is ran fashionably, so to speak, ran properly, so to speak. Like I said earlier, like a well-oiled machine, making sure there ain't no schisms in the body, making sure everything is clean fit, so to speak.
That's right.
Running smoothly. And that takes work. It takes a lot of work to smooth out a surface, so to speak. Like whenever you see somebody in construction smoothing out whether it's granite or different type of stone, and that's a process, man.
Yeah,
first you gotta grind things down, man. Before you polish anything up, the first step of polishing is grinding, man. Grinding and breaking it down to its
lowest state,
to its base level. And then you go through the elements of polish work, you know, polishing and things of that nature. Because I used to do that type of work, grind and polish, you know. Like I said, that's a hard work, and it's a dedicated work, man. Tiresome, tedious, but guess what? After the end product is all worth it, man. So it's the same thing in this truth. And in order for us to shine, we gotta you know, polish each other. Sometimes a brother might need a rebuke, you know. Sometimes a brother might need an exhortation. Sometimes you might have to, you know, keep a brother in line with the spirit, but it's all for us to push and to become stronger and stronger. All right, and I'm gonna end it with this scripture in Psalms 124:8. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Right, and above all, we have the name of Yahweh Ahchyam Ahchyam that's gonna protect us and guide us throughout all situations and conditions, man.
That's
So,
right.
you know, you gotta trust in the Lord, trust in the brotherhood, and keep fighting. Be that faithful brother that a brother can call on also. You know.
That's right.
Always pushing and actually helping, being a strong asset in this truth, you know, so that you'll be the best candidate, one of the best candidates of the 144,000 that Yahweh will qualify to be a minister to the kingdom. And that's what we all fighting for. But it all starts now. It all starts with the mentality that men are moving with on this side when we ain't got shit.
Right.
You know, scripture says, you know, being faithful. It speaks about being faithful in little. All right, if you're faithful in little, you're going to be faithful in much. And your faith starts right here in Babylon, so to speak. You know, that's why I said the kingdom of heaven dwelleth within you. But we're going to end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'Hashem, Kal Kodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom, Ahchyam.
Shalom.